The Joe Rogan Experience.
And that's why I could turn prison into a religious retreat, because it's like a monk going, into hiatus for 9 months.
You just had a thought in your head that you're going to treat it like a religious retreat.
Yeah.
And you'd learn about yourself and educate yourself.
Yeah. Read all the books. Take advantage of your solitude, because that's very important. When you get a chance to be alone, man, that's a very important time, because that's when you connect with the your spiritual teacher.
It must have felt so good to be released, though.
In a way, there was a lot of sadness.
Really?
Yeah. I never looked as good as when I got released, man. Because one of the inmates there, he was a barber. He spent 2 hours cutting my hair. Perfect. He was a Chicano, just perfect. I come out, my wife, Shelby, looked at me, whoa, that's the best haircut you've ever had. Everything was perfect.
Were you exercising in jail?
Oh, that's all you do. You walk at night. There's a track, and you can walk miles around the track. And the whole prison's out there walking around. That's when you socialize and talk and everything else to people and that. And they all group together. And I learned games. I learned how to play bocce ball. I played pool. And then I sang. I had a little area where I had my own private studio. It was the entrance to the pool hall. And I'd sit in there, and the echo was perfect.
You guys had a pool hall?
Oh, yeah. We had tennis courts, pool hall.
Sounds like a great time.
It was. I'm telling you.
Other than not being able to leave.
And even then, if you wanted to leave, why would you want to leave? I mean, it was perfect.
So you think that's why people go back to jail? Like
totally.
After they get released?
Totally. Yeah. I saw one guy it was sad. He was crying.
He
was
got
sitting
released.
there crying. And I said, what's wrong? He gets released next month. And he was a junkie, and he knew that as soon as he hit the street, he was going to die. He was going to die, and he did. As soon as he hit the street, he died. But
overdosed.
He was funny. They had a little game that when they opened the dormitory, the first few people to hit the mess hall got to order eggs any way they wanted, like over easy or sunny side up, whatever. And so he'd get all anxious. He'd be the first guy in line, and he'd be kind of getting ready to, so the doors open, man, he'd do that. And you couldn't run, you had to walk. And so he learned this
walk
quick
fast.
He'd walk real fast. And he was a delight. But when he got released, he took his own life. It's sad. Yeah, I hung
took
with
his own life with heroin, or?
Probably. Yeah, it was sad.
So he just couldn't help himself once he got out.
Well, see, everybody's worried about socialism. Well, America's the biggest socialist country in the world.
We are?
We got more people in jail than anywhere else in the world. And what happens in jail? Cradle to grave. You're fed, you're clothed, you're told what to wear, you're told you're allowed to study certain things. You're totally controlled. Medical, you got free medical. There were prisoners that would go to jail so they could get their open heart surgery, because the federal law mandates that if you have something wrong with you, they have to fix it. And so there were prisoners that would break the law so they could get in to get their open heart surgery.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
crazy, man.
That's some next level thinking.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to jail so I can get open heart surgery.
Yeah.
What did they prevent you from reading any books? Was there anything that was like could you order whatever you wanted?
They had it was weird. They had a thing about they would take covers off magazines and the
why
subscription cards, they would take that out because people on the outside would dose them with the acid, LSD, and ship the books in there. And then next thing you know, half a dorm would be tripping on acid.
Because they were eating pieces of the subscription paper.
The paper, yeah. And that kind of stuff always went on. But as far as, you could read whatever you wanted, basically, I read a lot of books that, I was meaning to read, And I helped a lot of people. I would do the I Ching. Do you know the I Ching?
Sure.
Yeah, I would do the I Ching.
You know how to do that?
On the Indian grounds. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
It's real easy. Yeah, throw the coins.
Mm-hmm.
It's really heads, tails. You know.
Well, it's supposedly it's some sort of a like future reading thing,
Yeah,
right? Do you think it
tells-
works?
Oh yeah.
What does it tell you?
Well, first time I did it,
Yeah.
I rolled it. I did my.
Explain to people how it works.
Well, what it is, you get 3 coins,
Mm-hmm.
and you throw the 3 coins, and you get numbers from 6 to 9, and anything in between 6, 8, 9. I think that's something like that. Anyway, each number tells you what line you're going to read, and you throw it 3 times, and you write down, and then you get a sort of like a plan of what page you're supposed to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get the page, then it tells you, you know, what you're asking it, because you got to ask the I Ching for something, you know, and it'll answer it. It'll answer you. And for instance, I threw mine when I did it. I threw it, and the first line said, "You are in jail for a reason."
Whoa. How does it say that?
It just said it.
I mean, it says it how? Is it? What do you translate?
You write it. You read it. It's been written in that book for centuries. That line was in that book for centuries.
Really?
3,000 years, something like that. And so I read it because they still talk about chariots and kings and queens and everything. That was the first line. You are in jail for a reason. Jails are corrective institutions that will correct your behavior.
That's what the I Ching is telling you.
That's what the I Ching. Well, what they did, they updated it. The girls that wrote it, they updated it to the modern time. Mm-hmm. You know, I think it's Armstrong, is the girls that there are a couple of girls that wrote it. It's a big, thick book, but it and then it went on there. And another guy, Mike, this Chicano, he saw me, he thought it was a game, so he's all set for the game. What are you playing? I said, no, I'm doing the I Ching. I said, do you want me to do you? And he said, yeah. So I did his, and it's very polite not to read the readings of the other guy. You know, let him read it first. And so I did the numbers, and I give it to him, and he read it, and he just handed me the book, and he went, sat on his bunk. And he just stared. And so then I read what it said. And he a month before, he lost his wife and child in a car accident. They were coming out to visit him. And the I Ching said, you suffered a great misfortune.
Wow.
It was like dead on.
Wow.
And the I Ching goes on to tell you, you know, what to do. And you know, next month is going to be tough. This month is going to be good, you know. And we see hope for you. It's like astrology. It's almost the same.
Well, I know Terrence McKenna was really into it. He's really into the I Ching, and he thought it was some sort of a map of time. He was trying to figure out what it was and how it worked and why it can predict things.
And if you mess with it, it'll tell you.
If you fuck with it,
like the Ouija board, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if you do the Ouija board, same thing. And if you start making it a game, you know, let's ask it this, let's ask it that. Who's going to win the race tomorrow and that? And right away, the I Ching catches that and knows your real feelings, and it tells you. And it'll tell you, don't do that.
What do you think it is?
It's a Chinese.
It's a method of divination.
I think what it is, it's a spiritual way of communicating us. Remember in Ghost, where Patrick Swayze had to learn how to move a coin? Mm-hmm. Remember that?
Yeah.
The spirits, especially spiritual people, they're around us. And so you give them a chance to communicate with you, because they know all. They will communicate. And so the I Ching gives the spirits a chance to communicate. So when you throw a coin, they know what heads or tails or whatever it is, number that you need to read to talk to you.
Right.
And that's my theory. Got to try it, man.
Yeah, I'm curious, because I do know that many people have used it to try to figure out what their life is about and what they're doing with their life.
Yeah.
And the weirdest thing about it is they seem to find some real answers in it.
And they keep them to themselves.
Yeah, but the idea that I had heard that made the most sense was that the way the world works is not as simple and as easy as 1 + 1 = 2, left, right, walk down the road, but that there's intention and thought that also helps formulate our universe. And what the I Ching does is it somehow clarifies intention and thought, and it clarifies like the actual process is going on in your mind, and it quantifies it and puts it into like a way that you can read your effect on life and life's effect on you in this, and then it reads it somehow or another, even though it doesn't make any sense. It's a method of divination. It's a method of discovering what's happening.
Yeah, it's a method of communicating with the spirit world.
You think that's what it is?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And the thing is, getting back to the AI, the artificial intelligence, that we already use artificial intelligence in our lives every day. Like Alexa is a good example.
That bitch.
Yeah, I love her. She
Siri.
She never steered me wrong yet, She's told me I've asked the wrong questions.
Right.
But I see, this is my theory, is that everybody in the universe wants us, the spirits, they want us to be enlightened, because the more enlightened we are, the more we can enjoy what we've inherited. Mm-hmm. Because when you're born into this world, you've inherited.
You're taking it for granted.
A kingdom.
Amazing.
Yeah, you've inherited a kingdom.
Especially in comparison to the rest of time. All the human history. This is the greatest time, the greatest, most fortunate.
That's what I'm saying. Look at us. Look what we got now going for us now. And how much effort did that take? It was like being part of a team. And so when you're ready, boom, you're pushed out in front. You're up there. Mm-hmm. And so, our duty as students is to learn everything we can learn and to teach whatever we can teach. And that's why there should be no paranoia, because we're not here long enough so that being rich or being poor makes any kind of a difference. Because yourself. I mean, what do you really need in this life?
Right.
What do you really need? Water, food,
companionship, love,
yeah,
friends. Yeah, and something interesting that you like to do.